Afternoon, guys. Okay, so the team is the Beast, Malcolm and Frans, the front row. Eben and Pieter Steff, the lock pairing. Then Francois Lou, Sia and Warren, the loose forwards. Faf and Andre, the skakelpaar, 9 and 10. Apiwe, left wing. Andre Estreisen and Lucania, the centre. Makazolo Mapimpi, right wing, and Willie fullback. On the bench, Bongi, Stephen Kirchhoff and Thomas de Toey, the front row covers. Marvin Ori, the second row cover. Marco van Staden, loose forward. Ambrose 9, Lionel reserve centre / wing, and Damian Willemse reserve fullback / fly off.
Thank you. James?
Just take us through the thoughts behind the changes.
From the last test match.
Yeah.
Okay, there's quite a few. Obviously, Frans Malherbe is now fit again and fully recovered from his neck / shoulder injury. So he's been training with us for 6-7 weeks post the Super Rugby, and he also played 3 or 4 games at the end of the Super Rugby for the Stormers. So he's fully fit and was the number 1 tight head before he got injured. Eben is obviously fit now, and obviously he was also the first choice number 4, so he's fit again. At 5 lock, Pieter Steff played blindside last time, but we have to give Franco somewhere a rest. He's just totally overplayed, so if we don't do it this game, we probably never will do it, so this is the game to do it. Obviously, Francois Lou coming in at open side, where Sia played open side. Flo wasn't available previously because of injury. He's now available, and Dwayne isn't, so Sia moves back to blindside, where he's always played prior to the last 3-4 years. Warren is obviously now back to full fitness and has been one of the guys that captained South Africa before, so it's nice to have in the pack a leadership group of Warren, who's captain the box, Sia, who's captain the box, Pieter Steff, who's captain the box, Eben Etzebeth, who's captain the box, Francois Lou, who's captain of Bath. There's quite some good. I think we're starting to build some experience there. Faf and Andre has been the 9 and 10. Apiwe was the left wing previously, with Damien injured for the Allende for the next 2-3 weeks still. Andre Estreisen was always knocking hard on the door. I thought he had a real good game against Wales, so he deserves his chance. Lucania stayed 13, and then obviously with Sabu out at 14, Makazolo was competing hard with Luwazi for that spot, but we think he's ready for Championship Rugby. On the bench, Marvin Ori comes in. He has 1 test cap, especially with the eye on Eben Etzebeth, not probably going the full game, and having another 5 lock we can call the lineouts while resting Franco Mostert. Marvin Ori makes a lot of sense there, as he can call lineouts. Marco van Staden, he's keen to get him onto the park with him being injured in those English test matches. Ambrose Papier has been in the mix. Lionel was injured in the June test matches, so we couldn't really pick Lionel. He covers for you both winger and centre, and then Damian Willemse is one of the guys after the injury to Warwick. Damien is the guy who we're going to try and see if he can cover that 10-15 for us. So I hope that explains everything.
Rassie, can you just confirm the back row, Marco van Staden, what kind of back row dynamic do you plan to play in the second half?
John, if the game goes well, I think one can do one of 2 things. If it goes well, if we see we struggle in a certain area, if we do struggle at the breakdown, you can always move him to open side and flow to 8. If we struggle at the pace of the game and the speed of the width of the game, you can always just make a straight swap with him, whoever's struggling in the game. Say straight to Francois Lou. Francois Lou is coming off a 6-7 weeks pre-season. I think they've played 1 warm-up game, so he might struggle to last the full 80. So depending on where we struggle or where we go well, Marco will probably slot in there. But it is possible that him and Flo can play both together, with Flo probably moving more to 8 than Marco will.
Just a word on Makazolo Mapimpi. He's development since he came with the squad, and he's been patient, and now he's getting the opportunity. Just a word on him.
Yeah, I think we all know what he can do. He scores tries, and he's got tremendous X factor with the ball in hand. I think he will be the first guy to put up his hand and say there were certain technical areas where he struggled, the high ball, sometimes defensive systems. But I must say, if I have to rank players in the squad of 35 who's improved the most in certain areas, he's probably number 1. in terms of hard work. He's always fit, he's always available, and he's definitely, if he was in certain areas a 3 or a 4 or 5 out of 10, he's slow to 8 and 9 now at this stage, so he's improved tremendously in the areas where he was weak, and then obviously he's very strong in the attacking side of things, so wonderful to give him a chance against the big boys now.
Are we more likely to see Damien Willemse making his debut on fullback
Depends how the game go. Would like to see him at fullback, just to know what we have while we're trying to build towards next year. He was the guy when the Currie Cup was won last year for Western Province who played that whole game fullback in Durban for Western Province. He was the starting fullback and they won the Currie Cup, so he's got enough experience there in pressure games to be able to handle that. But, as you say, as I say, rugby championships are a totally different beast. And I guess hopefully we're somewhere in a comfortable position or so much under pressure that we're going to put him up. I'm not sure when we're going to put him on, or maybe get an injury at 10 and he might move to 10, or at 12 and then Andre will move to 12. So it's nice to have a type of a Frans Steyn in him, which is obviously much younger, but yes, maybe most likely at 15.
After having worked with him now, do you understand what all the hype is about around him?
We saw it last year. Even when I was in Ireland, I had a good look at him, and he's gone through a whole Super Rugby campaign now at 10, and last year he went through a Currie Cup. As I said, he played in the final at 15. So I think he's one of those younger guys who physically can stand up to things. You don't doubt his physicality. If I compare him with other guys his age, for a backline player, we all know he can tackle. He's got a great step, good boot. I think the big challenge will be pressure, expectation, those kind of things. If he gets through that, he's a talent that maybe can do it for us next year at the World Cup at a certain stage as a utility. But yes, I can understand why the hype is there.
Rassie, just on Marco van Staden, what is it that impresses you about him? Is it the solid workhorse, especially against the Argentina? What do you expect from him against an Argentinian pack that traditionally floods the breakdown quite a bit across to disrupt you?
Yeah, I think Ben O'Keefe will have a tough one at the breakdown tomorrow on Saturday. But it's just, I think we're definitely going to go hard at the breakdown, as do the Argentinians. They bite at every second, third breakdown real hard. And on both sides of the breakdown, he's good, on defense and on attack. He's one of the guys that gets there first on attack and make sure your ball is secured, which we will expect from him again because they bite so hard at the breakdown. And then defensively, we all see he can make turnovers, so hopefully he can do that at test match level. It is obviously different than Super Rugby and Currie Cup. I think he'll play very much like Flo, Flo's playing, just with more of an engine and a bit younger.
Rassie, how does your approach maybe change from England to now, the back row being quite different in terms of not having maybe a big Dwayne Vermeulen or Peter Steph, and now you've got maybe Flo more specialist open side linking number 8?
Yes, that's why I think we had to reject the loose forward setup or makeup in terms of finesse, size, momentum getting, momentum stopping, and speed. I think we've got speed. I think we do have size in Marco is 112 kilogram. Flo is a big boy himself now, and then Sia's got speed. So same than Warren. And I think there's 2 or 3 guys with Malcolm now as the hooker who starts. There's another guy on the ground that can poach. So I think the poaching attribute that we had with Dwayne, I think Malcolm backs up for us there. So if Malcolm goes off and both those guys were off, Marco or Flo, I think we would struggle at stopping momentum in terms of breakdown speed. But I think the makeup now actually will be quite okay.
Rassie, just in that scrum half dynamic, if you can give us a sense of what made you go with Ambrose, what gave him the nod over the other 2 guys on the squad on the bench?
Yeah, Ross has always been a case of, I know people ask him, and it probably looks weird now, and I totally understand why it looks weird that we have 4 scrum halves, but you have to have 3 scrum halves in your squad, because tomorrow somebody can get flu, and then the 3rd scrum half must become number 2. But we can also get an injury now, and we have to fly on Sunday, and then number 3 must fly with you, if you understand what I'm saying. If we didn't have Ross with us this 2 weeks, and we get an injury on Saturday, then the Ross will fly with us. That's the thinking behind having 4 scrum halves in the squad, just to work with the guys. So I hope that makes sense. Faf is clearly the number 1 at this stage in our heads. I think Ivan and Ross is probably that almost semi-mature 9 that can build towards playing this World Cup and maybe the next World Cup. And Ambrose is the guy that we must just give as much game time as possible in test matches, which will build his confidence, build his experience. And we feel this one in South Africa against a good Argentinian team, if he can get experience against them, and he makes it against them, then because we rate him so much, he's probably one of the guys that we can say, okay, now we might test him against even some steeper opposition. So that's why we went with him.
Rassie, how much do you expect the starting 15 to change by the time you play the last 2 games in the competition?
I think four changes.
Rassie, guy like you, but if you've got to take him off after 60 and so, will you move Peter Steff into the number 4, or will it be a straight swap with Marvin Orie?
Would like to give Marvin a gap on calling lineouts at test match level. He did against the Welsh when he came on. It would be great to give him again, you know, what time in the game, what's the pressure like, are we ahead, are we behind, you know. Obviously Peter Steff is established, he's captain the Springboks and he's at 5 lock and calling the lineout, so he's sort of used to the pressure, he's done it a lot. Marvin has done it a lot at Super Rugby level. It would be wonderful if we can actually move Peter Steff to 4 and Marvin to 5 and give him a good experience. But if the pressure is on and the heat is on, you know, it might change the coaches or our coaching team's decision making or where we're going to put him on. At this stage, I think rather a straight swap of Eben and keeping Peter Steff at 5.
Rassie, just on the Jaguares, do you expect them to play exactly like the Pumas, exactly like the Jaguares did under Mario as well? And then saying that they're a team that's been in South Africa a lot this year. They've almost been in South Africa longer than your squad has been together. Do you think that's going to help them with the conditions?
Yeah, well, we were a bit unsure what exactly we're going to expect from or get from them. I think we're expecting that they're going to play that like the Jaguares play, because they were successful. They're used to one another. They only 3 weeks ago still played in a quarter-final. So I don't think a lot can change in 3 weeks. So probably more like the Jaguares. I've got a feeling it's going to be a little bit more. I think they had the 3rd most running meters or 4th most running meters in Super Rugby. But I think at test match level they will kick a little bit more. So I guess mostly like the Jaguares, but I think there'll be an element of more of tactical kicking, which we'll have to handle.
Rassie, how much would you say is separating Lukhanyo Am and Jesse Creel at the moment? Obviously Jesse was probably one of the few standouts at Newlands test match.
Yeah, not a lot. And also if you put Lionel Mapu into the mix there, I think we're blessed with outside centres. The nice thing about both Lionel and Jesse is that they actually cover wing and outside centre for you. I think Lukhanyo is in a winning habit now of winning in a Springbok jersey, and I think he's done nothing wrong. Jesse's definitely knocking hard on the door, and he will definitely get his chance in the Rugby Championships. You know, we might let him play next week for the Bulls, and he might not even tour with us, just to give Lionel also a fair run somewhere. But yes, no, there's not much to choose between them. And it's a nice position to be in. You know, we would like to be in every single position where we can say we've got 3 guys like that.
Okay, thanks very much. A couple of Afrikaans questions. Anybody?
I sien dit nie veranderings in wat van aangebring is. Dit is oor my lank.
Maar wat is nie die verandering sê? Okay, ek gaan maar 'n paar kies. Okay, Frans Malherbe is terug van besering af, en jy weet, so hy was die nommer 1 vaskop gewees voor hy beseer geraak het, dieselfde met Eben Etzebeth. So ek dink is maar net 'n obvious choice om hulle 2 'n start te gee nadat hulle nou fully fit is. Die los trio het so 'n bietjie rondgeswap met François Lou wat beskikbaar is en Warren wat beskikbaar is, en daarom skuif Sia blindside flank toe. Skakelpaar is dieselfde, en dan op senter is daar verandering op binne sentrum met Andre wat in Damien Dalende se plek ingekom het, en Makazole dan in Cebu se plek, net omdat dit 'n stryd swap is vir 'n injury daar. Verder is dit maar eintlik maar net op die bank waar daar groot veranderinge is in terme van Marco van Staden wat beseer was, Ambrose wat 'n kans kry teen die manne, en Lionel wat vir ons ook beseer was in Junie, maar wat nou vir ons die wing en center kan cover. En dan met Warwick Galant se besering is 'n Damien Willems 'n goeie opsie om vir ons 15 en 10 te cover.